Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're focusing on something, well, I think it's pretty crucial. Those tiny linguistic shortcuts.
Mhm.
The ones that really separate just being understood in English from sounding genuinely, effortless,
Yeah.
native-like.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not digging into complex grammar today. Instead, we're diving deep into the hidden meanings, the assumptions packed into everyday, really casual phrases.
That's right. And these are expressions that, well, when you actually stop and think about them, they often mean something a bit counterintuitive. Or they carry a much heavier social weight than you'd guess just from a literal translation.
Like social lubricants, almost.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Subtle social lubricants.
So our mission today is to pull out that surprising nuance, the different tones, figuring out the exact right moment to use these phrases.
Mm-hmm.
We want to give you the key, basically, to unlock that natural fluency, whether it's just small talk or, making important requests.
Think of it like a quick guide to navigating social situations using English more smoothly.
Right. A rapid-fire course.
And to do that, we've picked apart three really critical phrases for today.
Okay.
One's going to help you with logistics, travel stuff. Another gives you this perfect shield of politeness for asking for things.
Ah, useful.
And the third one is a great little tool for teamwork, for strategy. So maybe let's start with getting places, movement.
Okay, sounds good. Let's dive into that first one then. How are you getting somewhere? Now, if you're listening and you're, pretty proficient in English already, you might hear this and your first thought could easily be, well, they're asking about my well-being, right?
Yeah, like, are you okay? Is the journey hard? Are you stressed out?
Like, how are you managing to get there? That kind of feeling.
And look, it's completely understandable why that confusion happens. Totally get it.
Because how often feels like it relates to difficulty or emotion.
It often does, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially maybe depending on your first language.
Yeah.
But in English, specifically in this context,
Yeah.
it's radically simpler.
Okay, how simple?
It's purely logistical. It's just a travel question. It's only asking about the method of transportation, nothing else.
Ah, okay. So what kind of transport are you using? What's the plan to actually arrive there?
That's it, exactly.
And once you get that, suddenly the phrase becomes super useful, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Like, if I mention, I need to be downtown by 9 tomorrow, and you ask, how are you getting there?
Right.
You're just asking, am I taking an Uber, the bus, driving myself, and dealing with parking?
Precisely. Or, think about getting to a big event, maybe a wedding or a conference across town. It could be stressful.
Totally.
But when someone asks, how are you getting to the venue?
Mm-hmm.
They're not asking for your stress story.
Haha, right. They just want the plan.
They just want the plan.
Mm.
So the natural answer is purely functional. I'm taking the subway. Or, my partner's giving me a ride. Simple as that.
And what's also key, I think, is how we shorten it all the time. We hardly ever say the full, how are you getting somewhere, do we?
No, rarely. It's usually shortened.
It's more like, how are you getting home? Or how are you getting to the airport tomorrow?
Yep. Huh. How you getting to work?
That quick conversational feel. It signals, like, I care enough to know the immediate plan, but maybe not enough to pry into, deeper struggles about the journey.
That nails the distinction. It's concise, it's efficient, it keeps things moving.
Okay. And if you want to sound really natural, answering it.
Good question. You can mirror the structure using getting there by, so I'm getting there by train, or I'm getting there by bike.
Or just use the method itself, right? Like by car or by bus.
Yeah, or even simpler, I'm taking the bus, or
Yeah.
I'm driving.
And maybe the simplest of all if it's close by.
I'm walking.
Right, just walking there. Okay, so lock that one down. How are you getting somewhere means what transport, what's the plan, period.
Phrase one, decoded. Nailed it. Now, okay, we've handled physical travel. What about navigating social situations?
Ah, yes.
Sometimes, to get where we need to go, we need a bit of help from others. And that takes finesse.
Social finesse. Okay, that definitely brings us to our second phrase. Could I ask you a favor?
A classic.
This has got to be one of the cornerstones of polite English, right? It's like the soft buffer you put up before you actually ask for something.
It absolutely is. And it's a perfect example of a phrase that's doing like massive cultural work behind the scenes.
How so?
Well, English speakers, maybe particularly in certain cultures like the UK or US, tend to really value personal autonomy.
Uh-huh.
We don't like to just assume we can demand someone's time or energy.
Okay, right. Imposing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So by starting with, could I ask you a favor? You're actually asking for permission first. permission to potentially impose on their autonomy.
Ah, so it's like a pre-request
Right,
request.
kind of. And that makes the actual request, when it comes, feel much smoother, much less demanding.
That distinction feels really important for sounding natural, because if you just jump straight to the demand, like with a coworker,
Yeah.
and you just say, maybe a bit bluntly, send me that report again.
Oof. Yeah, that can land badly. Abrupt, maybe even rude, depending on the context. Or aggressive.
But if you wrap it up first, hey, sorry to bother you. Could I ask you a favor? Could you send me that report again when you have a sec?
Totally different feeling. It communicates respect. It shifts it from a demand to, like you said, a genuine request.
And the source material we looked at showed just how flexible this is. It works everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Neighbors, colleagues.
Like asking a neighbor, instead of the really blunt, awful sounding, water my plants this weekend.
Yeah, please don't say that.
You'd say, hi, can I ask you a huge favor? I'm going away this weekend.
And I was wondering if you could possibly water my plants maybe just once on Saturday.
The difference is just huge, night and day.
And you touched on variations earlier, which is also really important here. The could I versus can I.
Right, what's the deal there?
Could I ask you a favor? Uses that conditional could. It makes it sound a little softer, maybe a bit more formal or tentative.
So maybe use that with a boss or someone you don't know well.
Exactly. Or if it's a really big favor. Whereas, can I ask you a favor? Is totally fine. It's very common, more relaxed, more casual.
Okay, so that's for friends, family, people you're comfortable with.
Yeah. You probably wouldn't use can I with the CEO in a formal meeting unless you had that kind of unusually close casual relationship already.
Gotcha. It's interesting, though. Sometimes people might focus so much on nailing the could I ask part that they forget the absolutely critical follow-up, the thank you.
Oh, absolutely essential. That's part of the whole cultural ritual, isn't it? The transaction isn't really complete without genuine gratitude.
So what's the full natural flow look like?
Okay, so it's like a three-step process, really. One,
Yeah.
the polite opening, the preamble. Could I ask you a favor?
Step on.
Two, the actual specific request. Would you mind watching my bag for just a second while I grab a coffee?
Okay, step two.
And three, the sincere closing.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Preamble, request, gratitude. That's the golden sequence. Master that, and you've got the key to so many polite interactions.
That's great. Okay, so we've covered getting places physically and navigating social requests politely.
Yep.
So if we've successfully asked for help, maybe the next step involves actually doing something together. Planning, strategy.
Exactly where I was going, which brings us neatly to our final phrase for today. And this one sounds like it should be just for fun and games, but it's maybe the most strategically useful of the three.
Okay, intrigued. What is it?
How would you like to play?
How would you like to play? Okay, yeah, that definitely sounds like games. Sports, board games.
Right. And the literal meaning is obvious in those contexts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're playing football, how do you want to play this? Defensive, offensive,
Yeah.
or maybe deciding teams for something. How should we play this? In pairs or bigger groups?
Or musicians, right. Practicing a tricky bit. How would you like to play this section? Slower, faster, more attack.
Exactly. That's the literal sense.
Yeah.
But the metaphorical use,
Mm-hmm.
that's where the real power is.
Okay. So outside of actual games.
Yeah. In a non-game situation, it becomes this really casual, inviting way to ask something like, what's your plan? Or how do you think we should approach this?
It shifts things.
It really does. It shifts the focus away from like a single person issuing orders towards a more collaborative strategy session.
Okay, but I have to push back a little here. If you're in a serious work meeting, planning a big project, wouldn't it be clearer, more professional maybe, to just ask directly, okay, what's your strategy? Or what's the plan? Why use this slightly playful, maybe ambiguous play word?
That's a really good question. And it gets right to the heart of the tone this phrase creates.
Okay.
If you ask someone point blank, what's your strategy? Especially if you're more senior, it can feel quite demanding, almost like you're challenging them, putting them on the spot.
Right, I can see that, like an interrogation.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But asking, okay, how would you like to play this? It instantly lowers the temperature. It makes it feel more like teamwork, less like a test. It sort of implies that the plan isn't fixed yet, that it's something you'll figure out together. It's an invitation to brainstorm, basically. Less pressure.
Okay, I get that. So it's a subtle signal for collaboration even when the topic itself might be quite serious.
Precisely.
Like maybe two colleagues are prepping for a tricky client meeting. Instead of one saying, here's what we're doing, they might say,
So this negotiation, how would you like to play it? Meaning, what's our approach? Do we start tough? Do we offer concessions early? Who speaks first?
Got it. Or even just friends planning something fun but complicated, like that surprise party example.
Yeah, totally. Someone can easily say, okay, team, the surprise party, how do we want to play this? Do we trick her into coming to the restaurant, or do we just all jump out when she gets home?
So again, it's asking for the approach, the sequence of actions.
Exactly. The core function is always about inviting the other person's opinion or preference on how to proceed.
And because it keeps that friendly, sort of casual tone, it works well for teamwork in lots of daily situations.
Definitely. Though, as you implied, probably not something you'd write in a formal business proposal.
No, definitely keep it verbal.
Right. But in conversation, it's gold. It basically says, hey, I value your input. What's your idea for tackling this? It's efficient, but it feels collaborative.
Okay, fantastic. We've covered quite a bit there. Clarity, politeness, strategy. Maybe let's just quickly recap the main jobs these three phrases do for you.
Good idea. So first up,
Yeah.
How are you getting somewhere?
That's your go-to for logistics. Purely about the method of transport. Nothing emotional.
Got it. Number 2, could I ask you a favor?
That's your essential social toolkit item. The politeness shield you put up before you make a request. Softens the whole interaction.
Perfect. And finally, how would you like to play?
That's your collaborative strategy opener. Sounds casual, but it's inviting someone to share their plan or approach for handling a situation or task.
Excellent summary.
And really, these kinds of phrases, when you start weaving them in naturally, that's what shifts your English from just being, technically correct to sounding truly fluid, conversational, real. You stop sounding like you're mentally translating everything first.
Exactly. You just sound like you're talking.
Yeah.
And the way to get there, it's all about practice, honestly. Don't overthink it. Don't wait for some high-stakes situation.
Good point.
Just try it out today. Think about your afternoon. Maybe ask a colleague, casually, hey, how are you getting home tonight? Find a small, easy moment to use that, can I ask you a favor, buffer.
Low stakes practice.
Exactly. The more you use them, even in small ways, the more natural those specific tones and situations will start to feel for you. You'll build the instinct for when to use them.
It feels like the real skill here, the thing that makes someone sound effortlessly native, isn't just knowing what the words mean. It's understanding the sort of unspoken social contract that comes with the phrase. Does that make sense?
Totally. It's the social function.
Right. That ability to wrap a direct question in just clarity, or a request in that layer of politeness, or a potential command into a collaborative question. That's often the hidden ingredient. It just makes conversations flow.
Well said.
So maybe something for you, the listener, to think about. Which part of your daily interactions feels the most clunky right now? Is it making simple requests? Is it just figuring out basic logistics with people? Or maybe trying to plan things together?
Yeah, where's the friction?
Exactly. Identify that area, and then maybe commit to trying out just one of these phrases today. See what happens. That small shift in language might actually change how people respond to you, more than you'd expect.